My name is Jeff Stiffarm. I'm the president of Port Belknap Indian Community, the home of the Iitaanɔɔn'i and Dakota people.
Would you like to further explain your position?
Well, I guess I'm the, how we say it within our council is the administrator part of our tribal leadership, and I've been in this position for 3 years, and prior to that I've been on council as a council member as Iitaanɔɔn'i elected official by the Iitaanɔɔn'i people reservation wide for 4 years, and then prior to that pretty much retired law enforcement with about 20, 21, 22 years in law enforcement prior to me being a politician. But I just led, basically a legislator for the tribe and speak for our people and issues we have, whether it's in DC or back home, or national issues that we have that pertain to our people back home. To me, it means that we get to bring our children home that was wrongfully taken from their families, whether it was here at Carlisle or other boarding schools across this country that some of them were taken against their will, and to me it's making things right for them and their families, that we finally get to bring them home, and hopefully healing those wounds that they have, that has what it caused because for them being away from home and what they had to endure at these schools, these boarding schools, mental, physical, spiritual, and probably sexual abuse too that they endured whilst they were at these schools. And then the ones that we are repatriating, they died there, and they died there without their loved ones being at their side. They died there alone, and they didn't have nobody there to comfort them in their time of need. They were probably lonesome, and that's what I think. How we lost a lot of our children at these schools was they were lonesome and lost because their family wasn't there. They were forcibly taken from their homes. I think we laid the groundwork because this is only the first one that we're doing. We're reaching out to other boarding schools to bring our children home, museums, colleges where they used our Indian people as, to explore what we are as Indian people, our bones, things like that. So it's gonna show our people that we are able to do this. If we could do it at Carlisle, we could do it at all these other boarding schools and bring our babies home to their home fires back at Port Belknap, whether it's Hayes, Lodgepole, or the agency. It's a closure for our people and their families that they finally get to come home. And it's just this one here is just laying the groundwork for future endeavors that we're going to take to do this, whether it's our children or whether it's our artifacts that these people have that taken from our people hundreds of years ago. And we're not going to stop. We're going to keep going, and we're going to keep bringing our artifacts and our people home. Yes, it is. It's a I lost my son a little over 4 years ago, and I know that loss that they feel. families that have children at these schools. Even though a lot of these people that we still have living back home don't know them personally, but they still have, it's their family. And it's closure for them to say, hey, to me, like what I went through, and I'm still going through this to this day when I lost my son, is that it's going to help heal the hurt in your heart, the hurt in your mind. But now, where they're at now, they're out there at the big sands, but they're still with us. I felt that, and I'm sure you did when you was out there at that cemetery. I felt that loss and that hurt because we had to leave one behind. And, I felt his pain that how come I can't come home? But we're going to work as hard as we can to bring him home as soon as possible so his family can have closure too. But it's going to help our people heal. And it's going to show other tribes that haven't done this yet that it's doable. We don't have to sit there and want and wish that, how come they got to stay there? How come we can't bring them home? So we laid the groundwork for a lot of other tribes to do what we're doing here, what we did this past week, to be able to take their loved ones home. It was not only for closure, but one of them I'm taking home was a relative of mine through the Rainbow blood. My grandma on my dad's side was Rainbow, and the Rainbow's granddaughters. So her blood, same blood runs through my veins, and I wanted to be part of that for our family. I wanted to be here because I helped our Tippo, Mike Blackwolf, and Emmy Filesteel get the ball rolling, and I was the one that signed the documents to claim our children. If I didn't sign those documents last year when we was here, we'd have been on a waiting list till 2025 or 2026 to come over and take our babies home. So I made that decision last year to sign for them, which allowed us to come here this year to take them home. And we're going to push the military, the Army, Carlisle Army base to let us come back and bring Solomon home. So I came here to fight to bring Solomon home and the honor to be there to represent the Iitaanɔɔn'i people as the president of Port Belknap to do this for them, for the people back home. Well, the people of today that helped us, I do, because they were very compassionate on how they treated us. They were very compassionate on how they removed the remains of our loved ones. But the people that took them over 100 years ago, I will never forgive them. As I think about how they were treated, and they say they weren't treated bad, but for that guy that ran that school, that Pratt fella, that coined that phrase, kill the Indian to save the man, that tells you how he felt about us Native Americans, and I say this when I speak in DC or speak to other people, that the United States of America still thinks Native Americans are second-class citizens. They think that we're below them. And they seem to forget that this whole country was our land at one time, and they forcibly took it from us. So I will never forgive that, ever. And I always think about the days and my ancestors when they rode horses and they hunted the buffalo and lived in them teepees and how they survived. We live in houses that have wood stoves or gas heat in the cold winters, and try to stay warm that way in the shelters that we have. But in the day that they lived in those teepees, how strong they were, how resilient they were, and that was taken from them because they thought we didn't belong here. They thought we were second-class citizens, like I said, not even citizens of this country, and I will always stand up and fight, for our people, and I will fight the BIA, Bureau of Indian Affairs, who's supposed to be there to take care of our people, but they still steal from us. And what's so frustrating about that is the people that work for the Indian Health Service or the Bureau of Indian Affairs are tribal members that treat us like that. That's what's so frustrating. I can't understand why they do that to us. So I feel very slighted on how our children were taken and how they were treated. And in my eyes, even though they say to their forensic studies of their remains over here, what they did is they said that they died of tuberculosis. In my eyes, they were murdered because they were forcibly taken from their homes back home and brought here. That's what killed them. Yes, I do. And like I said before, it's closure for them. And if they don't think they should start looking for them, they're wrong. Because it's like in today's times, if we left a child somewhere, one of our babies, and forgot him and didn't bother to go look for them, that's the same thing in my eyes as our children that are left at these schools, some of them buried in unmarked graves, and we don't try to take them home. I just don't understand why we wouldn't do that. Even though they're still not on this side with us, we still got to bring them home, bring their remains home. I would say, I'm sorry what happened to you. I'm sorry that our people at that time didn't have the power to stop what was happening to them. Didn't have the support system, whether with the state government or the federal government, to take up for them and say no, they belong with their families. Because you never seen that happen to the white people. They never went to those white people's homes and say, hey, I'm taking your children, and they're going to this school and they're staying there, hundreds and thousands of miles away from their homes. It never happened to them, but just to our people it did. And the only thing I can tell them, I'm sorry. And to my position right now, I will do the best I can to bring you home to your families. And it's just hard to think about, when we was over there, and we was talking about Solomon Brown that we're leaving. That's what I was feeling like. I felt guilty and hurt because we couldn't bring him home, and I felt his pain. Like I said, he was standing over there by himself. How come not me? How come I have to stay? And I know the Army can do something because we're supposed to be the powerfulest country in this world. Why can't we take our baby home? And they're telling us no. And they're looking at maybe if you don't try to push this, they're looking at 8, 9, 10 years down the road. And that's BS. And I don't agree with that. And that's why I told them I want it done within a year or two at the latest to bring Solomon home. I would tell them, don't stop fighting for your people. Speak up. Because if we don't say something, we don't fight for what is rightfully ours, they're going to continue to kick us down a road and think we're nothing. But if we stand up and fight like our ancestors used to do and show them what we're made of, and in their eyes, well, we're nothing. Look at this era we're in right now in this election time. This Donald Trump, who's running for president again, doesn't think nothing of us, people of color. That's because we didn't stand up to him. So my best advice for you all is to educate yourselves on our laws, educate yourself on your past and your histories, your ancestors, and use that to stand up and fight for what is rightfully ours. Because if we don't, then they're going to continue to walk all over us, and I don't want that to happen in the future. And you all, you students here, what you're learning, I see that in you. That's what you're going to do as you grow up as our future leaders. You're going to be doing that for us. You're going to be sitting where I'm sitting at. You're going to be ones going to DC and telling those people, that's my people I'm speaking for. I'm here to fight for them. Because if I don't, nobody else will. That's what I see in you all. And you're learning a good thing here. What we did this past week and on our way home. You learn how to speak up and you learn how to fight. But I want you all to educate yourself on what we have in front of us and what we have behind us, our ancestors, and what they did and how strong they are. Because that's what the same blood's running through your veins. Our warriors and our leaders, our past chiefs back in the day still run through your all veins, and you're going to stand up and fight. That's all I want them to do, you all to do in the future, is never back down. Stand your ground and speak up no matter what you have to say or how you say it, but they need to hear it.